Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. If this information is helpful for you, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Today, I am going to be talking about move while you're waiting when the answer is yes, but you're still standing still. And that is me. That was me. Over these last couple of weeks, I had to deal with an issue, and I knew I had to deal with it, but I was scared to deal with it. Even though I went into prayer, I went into prayer seeking God, of course, but I also went into prayer to stall it. Stalling out of fear, stalling the thing that I need to confront out of fear. So we're gonna get into that too as well throughout this teaching. Okay, the stuck place. We all have been there. I've been there. The stagnation place. We all have been there, especially whenever we feel as though we are doing everything that we know to do, but yet we're still stuck. Okay. The stuck place. There's a moment many of us know too well. We've prayed, we've fasted, we've asked God clearly, and yet we feel stuck. Not because God is silent, but because we're waiting for certainty when God is waiting for movement. Sometimes the delay isn't heaven holding back. Sometimes it's us still being still after having already said go. And that happened to me too, especially with my job. With God already saying, this is what I want you to do. I pretty much held that up for almost 4 years, and to the point where he had to almost like put an urgency, I want to say an urgency on my life, but an urgency that I had to respond to. I had to respond. And if I didn't respond, of course, it was going to delay, or I still would be stuck at that same situation or place where he's telling me to move. And that is just like you guys. We go into prayer and we ask God what to do. And oftentimes he show us what to do, but we're scared to move. And it's not that he is saying no. It is not that heaven isn't opening. It's us scared to move, right? Inquiring of the Lord, asking for directions. Inquiring of the Lord means we seek his wisdom, timing, and will. And all three is important. You can't seek his timing without the will or the wisdom. You can't seek his wisdom without making sure that the timing is right and the will, right? So you need all three of those. You need all three of those. And with that being said, you should be acknowledging him in everything that you do. And that is why it's vital to read your word and to hold on to Providence 3, 5, and 6, right? Inquiring is spiritual alignment. It is saying, God, I don't want to move without you. But here's where we get stuck. That is where we get stuck. We're saying, God, I don't want to move without you. And he's saying, go. But you're still saying, God, I don't want to move without you. You're going back into prayer, praying about that same thing over and over and over and over when he already gave you what you need to do. And that is where we get stuck. And not just you, me too. I did it so many times. I did it so many times. I did. So whenever you know that the answer is yes, or if the answer is no, you still have to take action. When inquiring turns into inaction, that is the part that I dealt with as well. There is a difference between seeking God and stalling out of fear. Like I said, I had to deal with an issue these last 2 weeks, and I did not want to deal with it because I was so afraid of the outcome, and I do not know the outcome just yet. But I do know God, I do know Jesus, and I know all things work together for the good, right? So even if, that's a powerful word, even if. So we keep asking questions like, is this really you? What if I mess it up? Or what if I take the wrong step? And the thing about taking the wrong step, even if you think you heard from God and you took the wrong step, he will redirect you. At some point, inquiring becomes a hiding place for hesitation. And that's, I mean, I can end it here. That is pretty much what I did. I went into prayer, and I had that prayer as my secret, as my stagnated place. I kept going to prayer. That prayer kept going to prayer, and that was my hiding place for hesitation, because I did not want to deal with the thing that I needed to deal with. So I went in prayer and kept going. Listen to me carefully. I went into prayer and I kept going into prayer about the same thing, when I was really just holding it as a hesitation. To hesitate me, to stall me from having to do what I know I needed to do. And God's response isn't always a new word. And that's what you need to know. Whatever you're asking God for or asking God about, it is not that he's going to always give you a new word, right? But he will give you permission to move. And once you get that permission to move or stay or whatever it is, you are to act upon that. Movement is often the confirmation that you're in agreement with what God is saying. Psalms 37:23 says, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Notice this, God orders steps, not stillness. There is a time in your life where you have to get still to hear from the Lord and all that. But oftentimes you got to give movement. You can't order steps that aren't being taken. Sorry. So God can't order something that you're not willing to walk. Many times the answer to your prayer is yes, but it's attached to a movement. So getting up as the answer. You have to get it up is the answer. You have to get up. That's the answer. Faith isn't waiting for the whole map. Faith is taking the next step with the light you already have. I remember for me, I used to be praying, God, give me power, power, power. And it hit me one day, like I'm asking for power, but it's already in me. The light is in me. So wherever I go, it's going with me. Greater is he that is in me, right? So you have to get up. You have to get up. For we walk by faith, not by sight. Often God says, start walking and I'll steer you while you're moving. And a lot of times, like I said, people think about, what if I take the wrong turn? Even if you take the wrong turn, God to direct you. Because I had an issue. Everything here that is on my YouTube, I pretty much am went through, or still struggling out. And I'm just giving you guys what I use and what I rely on in order to get me through. There's a time where I'm going to come out of hiding. There's a time when I'm going to come out of hiding. And I know this. And you should know for yourself, too, there's a time that you're also going to come out of hiding. So let's talk about this. What if I take a wrong turn? Here's the good news. God is not threatened by your humanity. He's not threatened by that. He already factored those things in. He already know that. What turns we're going to take, right? He already know what mistakes we're going to take. He knows those things already. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his step. So even if he told me to go right and I went left, he's going to redirect me back to right. I need you to know that. He will redirect you back. Even if you make a wrong turn, he reroutes, he redirects, he redeems the detour. You don't get disqualified because you move imperfectly. You don't. He knows the humanity side of us. We're going to make mistakes. We repent, we move on. He directs us. Stillness can delay the answer. Being still can delay the answer. For me, I know it did. I know it did because I didn't know what to do. And even whenever I did know what to do, I still didn't do it because I was scared. I was fearful of what things I used to be able to control. Now God is controlling it, right? So my hands can't be in anything. I had to let go and let God in order for him to direct my whole entire life. It was a hard struggle. It was a hard, and still today, it's still hard. It's still hard. Some answers are waiting on your obedience. Faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. You may be praying for clarity when God is waiting for courage. You may be praying for direction when God is waiting for decision. Movement activates instructions. Whenever you plug up your microwave, it cannot work unless you plug it up, right? It works when you plug it up. If you just sit your microwave on the counter and that's it, it's not going to do anything. It's not even going to light up. So we can pray all day long and give no movement. Nothing is still going to happen. Let's talk about the Israelite in the Jordans, okay, in the Jordan. God didn't part the water first. Let's read Joshua 3 and 13. It says, when the soles of the feet of the priests shall rest in the waters of Jordan, the waters shall be cut off. So the priest's feet had to touch the waters first in order for the water to stop moving. That is movement. That is movement. The water moved after the step. So sometimes God doesn't remove the sometimes God does not remove the obstacle until you move towards it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Sometimes when you have a crying baby, right? And the baby is crying and keep crying because he's hungry. You get up and you go fix him a bottle. Sometimes that baby will stop crying when he sees that you have the bottle in your hand and coming back towards him. You got to give some movement. Give God something to guide. You got to give God something to guide. You can't steer a parked car. God directs walking people, moving faith, obedient steps, not frozen prayers. And a lot of times that's what we're in. We are in frozen prayers. Frozen prayers. If you've prayed and your heart has peace, even without all the answers, that peace may be your green light. Get up, take the step, make the call, apply, start. And trust this, even if you misstep something, God is faithful to reroute you into purpose. And here's the thing, not everything is going to be peaceful or a sense of calmness whenever we're working, whenever we're living our life for God, right? So I don't want you to always think, okay, whatever is going on, I'm asking him this, I don't have no peace with it. It is what it is. I'm supposed to have peace. Not everything is going to come with peace. Because some things come with a little fear. The godly fear. Right? So you want to just make sure that you are in alignment with what God has you to do. But you also want to make sure that thing that you're praying about or that thing that God has told you to do, you want to make sure that you're giving movement and not stalling going into prayer day after day about the same thing because you're hesitant about what he told you to do. Because that's exactly what happened to me. I kept going into prayer about the same thing over and over when I already knew I had to deal with it. But prayer became my safety net where I hesitated at to stall the answer, to stall me moving, rather, to stall me moving. And I did it, and I'm waiting now on the results of what I was stalling. So give movement to whatever it is that God has called you to do. If this video is helpful in any way, or you feel as though it is helpful for somebody else, make sure you share it. Just hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a good one.